What's up, you guys? Welcome back to 10 Million in 10 Months. I'm Kim, CEO and co-founder of Listener Brands, which owns CurlMix and 4C Only. And today we're going to be talking about 3 lessons I learned in scaling my business and some of the mistakes I made that you don't want to commit. But before I do that, go ahead and click subscribe and go ahead and like this video. All right, so let's get into it. Lesson number 1, you should not, I repeat, not scale your operations until your demand requires for it. The mistake I've made in the past is scaling up because I knew I had a big bump and not scaling down or planning to scale down, but planning to continue to operate that way. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So in 2015, we started and we were in our apartment, which was like less than 1,500 square feet, and we were using our living room to pack all of our boxes. And then we're like, you know what? This is not enough space. We still want to have company over. We can't just use this space all the time for boxes. Why not use a storage facility? And we used a nice one because it collected mail. It had fresh cookies when you walk in. It had a bathroom, running water. And like, this is really great because then we could function our business out of the storage facility. And it was like $200 a month, right? So it's not like an exorbitant rent that might be like $1,000, $2,000 a month, something like that. We did that for about a year. And then we were like, okay, we need to be able to come here at any time of day. We need to have like actual sunlight for photography or for other things, right? Because the storage facility is dark. You will have like lights in your units or whatever, but like at some point you'll need to elevate it when you want to start shooting more content or you want to invite other people to your space to do more stuff. And then we ended up renting an apartment that had a 2-flat. And on the main floor was like a storefront kind of, but it was real old school. And then the top floor is where we slept. So it was like a studio upstairs. And we did that for about a year or so. But then we got pregnant and we were like, oh no, we need a house. Like we can't be living in this 2-flat. And so then we moved into this house now that I'm filming in. But eventually when we got to about maybe $30,000 a month in sales, this was just too small. It was like way too small. My baby was learning to walk and crawl around boxes everywhere. And then I was just like losing my mind. So I was like, we got to get out of our house. And that's when we finally got our first spot in an incubator here in Chicago. It was like 1,000 square feet, but it had like, it was an organic chocolate. Like the person before me was an organic chocolatier, and essentially was a certified organic space to make chocolate. And I'm like, this is great. We can make our flaxseed gel out of here. And then eventually we moved into a second unit that we just opened it up and it was 3,000 square feet. And then we expanded to our 3rd and 4th unit in that building. Now, that building was great for what it was, but now that we've expanded so quickly, it's really inefficient moving in between multiple units on multiple floors in multiple buildings, right? We need to be in one space. And so now we're moving to our own 30,000 square foot facility here on the south side of Chicago, which I cannot wait to show you guys that. But in doing that, I made some critical mistakes. And one of them was scaling up before we needed to. So we were on Shark Tank. And when you're on Shark Tank, typically people can do anywhere from $100,000 in a day to $1 million in a day. And you just have no idea what your episode is going to produce. You sometimes don't know if you're going up 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th in the episode. You don't know when it's going to air. You get like maybe a 3 weeks notice before it actually airs, which is like not enough time to buy all the raw materials you need. Essentially, I had hired like an extra 5 or so people, maybe 10. I don't know. I had hired a lot more people and I had bought a lot more materials for that spike in revenue. And so I think the month prior to Shark Tank, we had done maybe 200 and something thousand in revenue. The next month in Shark Tank, we actually did like 900,000, which is like crazy. But then we tapered down to like 700, then tapered down to like 500, and then back to like 300. And I was just expecting that we would keep that bump going, right? But one of the mistakes I've learned is that if you didn't control or create that spike in growth, then you're not going to be able to guarantee and rely on it in the future. So do not scale your business for that spike. Does that make sense? So I'll give you another example. During the pandemic, right? Sales were through the roof for a lot of e-commerce businesses because everyone was at home shopping online. 20%. They say that over the 10-year span, there was supposed to be an increase by 20% of shoppers at home. Well, that happened in literally like 3 months. So all those people who would have become online shoppers in the next 10 years actually did it in like 3 months. So that means that our sales were up in 2020. Anybody who sold online, sales were up in 2020 because it was literally just more traffic and more people on their phones. That said, We also went viral. Chance the Rapper retweeted us on Twitter, our Shark Tank episode, and it literally got millions of views, which brought in over 10,000 customers organically. And again, what did I do? Scale up my team, added a bunch more people, more marketing, more this, more that. And then after and then I started pulling out of advertising. I was like, well, we're doing so well. We don't need to spend some money on ads to get this kind of growth. And we didn't, but then the iOS update happened, right? So I wasn't really responsible for the growth. It was more market factors, things out of my control, right? Now, I juxtapose that to something that's actually happening right now. The growth that we've been experiencing these last 4 months, my team created, right? We've been digging into our digital marketing. We've been working on our messaging. We've been fixing our funnels and like checking on everything every single day, knowing everyone knows what our customer acquisition cost is, focusing on user growth. We've been doing all the things and subscription. And we've been seeing a 2 or 3x growth in our business, right? So this year we'll hopefully do 10 million in 10 months. But we manufactured that. In the past, we did not. So now it is appropriate for me to hire more people to accommodate growth and demand because it's consistent and we can repeat it. But if you cannot repeat that growth, do not scale your business for a one-off, like massive growth event. Okay? Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, be ready for your customer experience and your employee experience to probably suffer. So when you are growing at a rapid pace and you were not prepared for it, right? The customer experience breaks down. They are either getting their orders late, or they're getting the wrong thing, or they're getting it, their orders, something's not right about it. It could have been that they end up spending too much money, or they tried to refund this, or customer service is not getting back to them within a good time period. That's some of the experiences you have when you're like, you wait for the demand to kind of like blow up the business and you don't have the resources that you need. But at the very least, you have the money that you need to then go back and service those customers. If you do it the other way, you hire all these people and you don't have the demand, you're literally paying people to twiddle their thumbs at work because there's no work for them to do, right? So then you're the one with all that stress trying to figure out, okay, how do I mobilize everyone? How do I make this demand happen, right? The second thing that happens is like when you wait for the demand, your employees, they're going to be burnt out because essentially they're going to try to like be, they're rushing to kind of like meet these orders and meet this customer experience. And so that's the problem you have to deal with, right? That doesn't mean that you should do it the other way because this is how it's going to end up. What it means is, okay, what can I be doing to improve the customer experience, improve my employee experience while I am experiencing this scale, experiencing this growth? So that really just means you need to have contingencies in place. Okay, so if we're late on orders and the team is going to be stressed out, I need to bring in lunch, right? Or I need to provide some kind of like treat, like a massage service or something like that, because to make them happy. Okay, customer service. Well, if I'm going to be late on orders, can I give people something automatically for free, like rewards points or gift cards or whatever, because I know that their experience is not going to be ideal? Do I email them after, I know their order is going to be late within 3 days? Do I, like, you start coming up with when I went to Disney, that was actually a section that was planning to fail. So when your systems break down, what are the processes that your team is supposed to put in place to accommodate your team and your customers when you know you're going to fail at something? So the example they gave is if someone is hoping to, let's say, you get on a ride at Disney, you're in line, you're waiting for 2 hours, and you get to the front of the line and you find out you're too short for the line, right? The whole family's there, the baby can't go, which means some other adult can't go, or the whole family can't go, and now the baby's crying, and it's a really horrible Disney experience, right? What do they do instead? They have a little custom card that wrote, so sorry you weren't tall enough for this ride, but come back in 2 years and bring this card and you can get to the front of the line. And then it's like, oh, like that's actually thoughtful. So that's how you prepare to fail, right? So that's lesson number 2. Prepare to fail. Have a system and process in place when you know that you're going to have a not so great customer experience. My third lesson is for my CEO: communication. When you are scaling, you have to rally the troops. You have to motivate everyone and mobilize them around this unique common goal of meeting this demand for your customers. And it's going to take more than like a freebie day off. It's going to take you getting in, the weeds with them, maybe showing up to pack some orders, maybe you're in the trenches with them, right? I think that's particularly inspiring, and it's something I do as a CEO, and I feel like my team might be stretched handling scale. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope this is super helpful. My 3 lessons I've learned from scaling my business. Let me know in the comments what problems you're having with scaling, or if you've already scaled, some lessons that you've learned. All right, thank you guys so much.